Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Can We Talk? It's your boy, Eric. We're here with the usual suspects, Anthony, Shayna. We got a new, a guest host now. Paige is back with us for the second week in a row. And we have a special guest, Catherine Workman. Catherine is here. She is a life coach, author, speaker, and entrepreneur. Catherine is the founder and owner of Our Hair Addiction, LLC, and Love and Mind Publishing Group, LLC. Welcome, Catherine.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
I want to thank you for joining us. My friend Damien, y'all know Damien, right?
Yes.
Right.
Damien sent me Catherine's information. She joined us. We were kind of busy on and off the last couple of weeks, but she joined us this week. So we're happy and excited to have you part of this discussion, and I'm definitely looking forward to learning more about what you do as a life coach and your companies. And yeah, I'm excited.
Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to be here.
Oh, it's no problem.
I'm so excited.
It's no problem. So y'all, how was y'all week? It was an eventful week for me. Had a lot of stuff, weddings to go to. Got drunk. No, yesterday. Got really drunk last night. I came in a little bit hungover, but it's all right. What about y'all? What y'all do? Same old.
Yeah. Just being a mom.
Yeah.
And dealing with that.
No concerts? I feel like y'all had to go to a concert at some point recently.
I did order I watched a rap battle pay-per-view last night.
What?
No,
They still got those?
Yeah.
Yeah. URL Ultimate Rap League. Shout out to Quest McCody and Marv One. They had a good battle card. I was gonna talk about it in my 2 cents, but it was pretty good, man. It was worth the money. 6 great battles back to back. It was great.
Awesome. Paige, I want to get into something you wanted to talk about first. It was the Gold. Remind me, what is it called again?
Oh, it's Gold TV.
Gold TV.
Yes.
I want you to go ahead and talk about Gold TV because I know this is important.
I was hoping
It's
that
something
I
you
could
work-
go last. No, I'm just playing. No, but Gold TV is it's gonna be a online television network. We're gonna start as an online platform, but pretty much it's just for all content creators, and we're opening it up with our original content that we have dropping. We're starting out with 3 or 4 shows. It's not gonna drop it's not gonna launch until next year, but we're already starting to cast for some of the roles and stuff like that for the shows. We're doing a docu-series, we're doing a web series, and we're even gonna branch off into some what do you call those? It's not like a podcast, but one of those round table
Like a talk show.
like
The View.
I like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, but not The View.
right. It's going to be better than The View.
Everything's better than The View.
I just always think of older women in their 50s talking about current events and stuff like that. So, and Raven Simone.
Yeah, and Raven, right. So what got you inspired to create this?
Well, I've always wanted to kind of create my own platform to do to provide content. I actually just started. I don't know. I just had the idea I want my own TV station.
Yeah.
TV network. So I was just we can do this, and
That's dope.
And I just started, putting it into place. So, and also I want to create kind of a community for other content creators, whether it be, writers, directors, actors, just people who do vlogs or, blogging, anything, to just be able to share their stuff on a common network.
Yeah.
So
I love the fact that you give people control of their own content. I feel like a lot of times everyone's trying to get a network deal, get picked up by these big corporations. But it's so much value in being able to have your own creativity, creative control, and kind of do what you want to do.
Yeah, that's the idea, because I couldn't get a network deal, so
You never know.
so I decided that, hey, why not give other people the opportunity to, put their stuff on the platform, in which they could see a multiple amount of things from people that look like us.
Yeah.
So.
And that's where YouTube changed the game. You don't have to worry
exactly.
about as long as you got followers and you're marketing yourself, you can really rise up and do some great things. So that's exciting. I'm excited for that. We're gonna go ahead and get into the current events. So who here? I'm gonna preface this by saying, who here gets these crazy phone calls from these all these places that you don't know where they're coming from. It's just telemarketers.
I've called
Like, so-
myself.
You called?
Yeah,
Wait,
like
what?
when I looked at my phone, it said Shayna, because they were calling me from using my
Wait, they call-
number.
Wow.
Seriously though?
Yeah,
We've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty.
yeah.
That's nuts. Well, the FCC, this was this past Thursday, they passed a ruling that allows and encourages cell phone companies to block robocalls by default.
It allows it. It encourages it. But they don't have to do it for free.
They
and
don't.
They don't have
Yeah.
to turn it on by default.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
encourage my daughter to do her math homework.
But I at least feel happy that they see it's an issue, because I feel like over the past 2 years it's been getting out of control, like getting calls from all over the place, and there's numbers that kind of look like people you know.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, 248-313, like
No, if you call it back, like my mom, she was like, somebody called me, and I called them back, and she said she ain't called me. I'm like, Mom, she probably didn't call you.
Right.
They probably used her number
Yeah.
because it looks similar to yours
Yeah.
to get you to
Yeah.
answer the phone.
And I got a horrible story about that. So someone sent me a message out the blue. They were like, stop calling me. Like, why are you calling me right now? Like, they sent a text message. And I'm like, I don't know, who you are. It was like, you called me like 8 times. You never leave a message. I'm like, sir, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know who this is. But this guy was getting upset with me. Like, bro, this is the government conspiracy. I didn't do it.
It had nothing
Almost
to do
had
with
a
this.
stink meter moment.
It was messed up. I was like, no, this is out of control, because they're using our numbers. I'm sure they're selling our data,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's a mess. So I'm glad that the government is kind of potentially doing something regarding that.
Get a gold star.
They get a gold star.
Yeah.
I have noticed on my phone that when people are calling me about my imaginary warranty on my car, that the phone does says scam likely.
Oh, I don't get that.
Yeah, that's like instead of the number listed, it says scam likely, so I don't answer it.
What company do you have?
I have Metro PCS.
Oh, dang, Metro stepping their game up.
Do you have a spam call app on your phone?
I don't. It just automatically just says scam likely when a number that I don't recognize is calling me.
Smart.
Well, on a different note, no, this won't be too bad. So you all know the whole abortion law sort of being overturned in a lot of these states. So the University of Alabama Board of Trustees has voted to return $21.5 million from, his name is Hugh Covenhouse. He is a donor for University of Alabama. And they want to take his name off the law school because he is sort of prompting them to speak out against the abortion law, right? And so do you think it's right for the university to sort of take away or return the $21 million because he feels that the abortion law is bad? Like, shouldn't it be encouraged? Like, what are your thoughts? I feel like that's a little bit extreme. That's a lot of money, $21.5 million. And they're just going to give it back to him because they don't believe with his thoughts.
I mean, it just demonstrates how swiftly they can react to things. Because when we have complaints about buildings on campus being named after racists, they move slow, or they try to act like, oh, that was just a time, or whatever. So it demonstrates they can act swiftly.
Yeah. I just think that, I mean, obviously the university has to take a distinct stance from siding with any of these policies because they are a government institution, right? So I understand they want to avoid that, but again, we have our own opinion. So if the donor feels like, hey, he doesn't agree with this abortion law, or he feels that abortion rights or right for women to choose whether they want to have an abortion is, something he believes in, why would the university then say, hey, we don't stand by this? And I just think it's weird. But unfortunately, it's going to be a lot of issues we deal with this, further down the line, especially dealing with the taking away of our rights in terms of just women's right to choose and abortion laws and that and such. So that was a piece of news I thought was kind of important to relay. Another one, I don't know if you all saw yesterday, Russia and the United States had almost a collide with their Navy ships. So the U.S. Navy says that an unsafe and unprofessional maneuver by Russia nearly destroyed one of their U.S. missile cruisers in the Philippines. The Russian warship came about 50 to 100 feet away from the U.S. Chancellorsville, which is the U.S. missile ship. And Russia's denying it. They're saying that it wasn't them. It wasn't their fault. and that it was the U.S. fault for coming that close. When is this whole Russia-U.S. thing? I just feel like this is a ploy to get Donald Trump off the hook. Like, hey, we don't really like Russia. This is an issue. What's going on? What's going on with the state of affairs in this country?
I look at it as the opposite. Isn't it kind of like put him on the hook?
No, I wouldn't say so. Because it's the whole... I think the situation is that they feel that Donald Trump is being used by Russia. So this is a ploy to say, like, hey, they don't have a great relationship. Like, there's tension. Who knows?
That sounds like non-news.
Yeah.
Like, man, I almost crashed my car today.
Still, though, think about 52 U.S. missiles. Like, think about how big these things are. They came within 50 feet of each other. Like, that is, that's a near miss. They said that the U.S. ship had to hit reverse, go top speed. So this could have been, a diplomatic issue that we face. So,
it's more to the story.
It probably is. It probably is. And then we had to have Pride Week in Detroit this weekend, and apparently the neo-Nazis tried to, intimidate people downtown.
I don't know why. Like, I've never seen them at the African World Festival.
Never.
Why would they go to Pride?
Yeah.
I mean, because they're neo-Nazis. That's probably
They
why.
have new enemies.
Because it's something that's popping, and it's something that's popping that doesn't fall in line with what they believe in.
Yeah. I mean, did y'all hear about the straight parade they're trying to have in Boston?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's almost like the all lives matter type thing. Like, oh.
But the parade grand marshal will be Milo Yiannopoulos.
Oh, God.
Who's married?
He was, yeah.
to a man.
But who's also a white supremacist, allegedly. So that's, yeah.
I don't think there's any allegedly.
Right. Yeah, so that's what we're dealing with in this
that
country. Who knows? Who knows? But
I look at Milo and Candace Nicole in the same light. It's that they're professional trolls. I mean, they made a career out of this.
which
Like,
one? Who's
it's-
Candace?
Candace Owens.
Candace
Owens.
Owens. My bad. Candace Owens. Yeah, they're just professional trolls in my opinion.
So
Like,
Candace-
Well, Candace Owens is very dangerous. She actually went in to a hearing and was talking that shit.
Candace's issue is that people who, on the Republican side, I'll just put it that way, they take her word as being just gospel, right? They be like, oh, she's black and she thinks that immigration is bad, and it's so toxic, and she's a horrible person.
Horrible representative.
Horrible representative.
I do believe it is dangerous, but I do think these people, and this is probably like the most disturbing part of it, is that this is a 9 to 5 for them. Milo, Candace, Alex Jones, it's a 9 to 5.
Yeah, they get
Yeah.
a lot of money to do these things, and that's the unfortunate part. And I just hope that we can get this reverted somehow. I don't know if the new election next year is going to change anything. I doubt it. I feel like Calvin last week. I think Trump might get reelected, and this is going to kind of continue. But
That's one of those things where you hear where it hurts you, but when you really think about it, you're like, he might be right.
yeah, it's like I wouldn't be surprised. Like
yeah, that's exactly
you
what
wouldn't.
it is.
Yeah, at this point. So that's my 2 cents. Shayna, Hip Hop Corner. Did you have any good songs that come out? Any music that came out this
There's been
week?
some news.
Yeah, Crit announced that he was going to
Yes.
drop his album, Crit Is Here.
Okay.
And he dropped a new single called Crit Here. I didn't like it. I don't like it.
Honestly, it was all right, but
It's too much. It's like it's got the
It's got a lot
horn,
going on.
It's got the horns. It's got the sped up sample. I'm like,
he's doing a lot.
Listen,
I will say though that his visuals have been,
Yes.
A1 lately.
yes, they have, man.
listen, as far as Big Crit, the Crit is here as a callback to the, his
Crit
fir-
was here.
Yeah, his Crit was here. His critically acclaimed mixtape that got him on the map. I think my thing about Big Crit is I feel like and I don't blame him from an artist marketing perspective. He's kind of going with what the culture is in hip hop right now,
Yeah.
which is the great sounding trap beats. But we all love him for rapping over the soulful country
Yes.
raps beats.
Absolutely.
And I get it if he has to make a change, like marketing wise, financially wise. I'm there for him, but I think we're seeing a transition to Crit that not everybody's gonna be down with. I'm still gonna be a fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still gonna be a fan too. The sad part is that there are still people out here saying, "Who is Big Crit?" So, and I
Yeah.
think he's just really trying to. He has to because it's just like I'm about to be 40,
Yeah.
and I need to break ground somehow.
It's
Even
gotta
though,
happen.
yeah,
I mean, do you think these artists are kind of forced to evolve, or like could you keep your own identity without having to change who you are as an artist, like especially nowadays?
Yes, but the parts won't always fit a complete whole. You
Yeah.
can still keep yourself, but it will be distorted parts to the whole. If that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Even J. Cole had to do it with Workout. When he dropped that as his first like major single, and it blew up, and he took off from there. But he still did end up staying true to his soul.
Yeah.
But he had to use that, as his stepping stone, his thing to level up. So
I don't know. I'm still holding out hope because, like, when what is it? Forever is a Mighty Long Time. I mean, that was just like one of the greatest albums of that year. So I'm still holding out hope that this is gonna be great. It's just a single.
Yeah.
I don't always judge an album based off the single.
I don't think it was a really serious single to it. It almost sounded like something that's at the beginning of the album. So
Or something to throw you off until he throws the real at you.
yeah,
But you would think you want your single to be, banging. Like you want to come out the gate.
For Crit, it's hard because he's different. He's
He's
not
established.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's hard to come out with a single that's not gonna like give you everything that Crit has,
Yeah.
and people are gonna like love it, or it's gonna be like a radio single.
Yeah.
So have you, speaking to our guest host, have you heard of the Beyonce scandal that's happened?
Scandal.
Wait.
Well, it's not even a
wasn't
scandal, but it's like you know what
They're
happened, right?
trolling her.
They're trolling the wife.
they're trolling.
So Beyonce and Jay-Z were at a game, and I
Yeah.
believe, was it the league owner's wife? Or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The owner of the Golden State Warriors. I think.
That's his wife, his
Yeah,
fiance, or something like
yeah.
that.
The owner's wife was leaning over to talk to Jay-Z, and Beyonce was sitting in the middle, and then the Beehive got irritated because it looked like Beyonce was a little irritated that the woman was talking across her to Jay-Z.
Yeah.
And they dragged her on social media. She said she got death threats, and she had to leave social media.
I think that's a bit extreme.
It is.
I think it's a bit extreme. Beyonce body language, it did display some stuff, but it's the same as Jay-Z. They both give the same energy when they're around the opposite sex. But the Beehive, I think that was very unnecessary. Yeah.
I mean, do you think she just doesn't trust him anymore? Like they were having an innocent conversation.
I think
And I
with
feel-
that.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say they was having an innocent conversation. Yes, it was kind of rude for her to kind of reach over, like speak over. I agree with that, but
Okay, I understand that, but at the end of the day, whether Beyonce trusts or doesn't trust Jay-Z anymore, that labels itself under not our business.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That, at
Yeah.
the end of the day, that's not
Yeah.
our business. You know what I mean?
I agree.
you're in the public sphere though.
I understand you're a star. I get it. But if Beyonce brings Jay-Z to a Coachella performance and everybody says, "Oh, why'd you bring him? He cheated." That's her husband, man.
Yeah.
That's the father of her kids. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
This fandom though, this little Beehive thing is kind of it's scary when you think about it.
I
It is
think
scary.
like being a stan, like or stanhood, is just scary. Period. Where like people don't think like celebrities or people that are in the public like that they hold to high esteem can't do any wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a
Yeah.
And
guy
then
like
when
God.
someone,
Yeah.
when someone tries to hold them accountable or gives them constructive criticism,
Yeah.
like people go on full attack.
Yeah. Now they're the internet Nazis. That's
Yeah,
so to
that's
speak.
true.
So,
Some of them ain't even really a Beyonce fan. They're just adding to the madness to be trolls.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that plays right into the whole social media madness. So,
Yeah.
people
internet
are
is
trolling
mean.
just because they're not doing anything but being on their phones for
That's-
hours.
that is
you know?
true.
So,
I forgot to add from that game. Another thing happened. I guess it's more of a current event. So Kyle Lowry,
Oh yeah.
it's a point guard for Toronto. He fell into the crowd,
Yeah, put-
and then one of the investors, he was like a minority investor for Golden State. He pushed him while he was like on the sideline trying to get himself up, and it was like a big outlash about it. The minority investor, I think he got suspended from attending any games. I think for the rest of the year.
for a year.
Or for a year. Okay. And so that was a big deal. It was like, this is my office. I can't come to your office and touch you. Right. So why would you touch me?
but he failed, correct?
No, but he was nowhere near him though.
wasn't. He reached over and
Yeah,
pushed
he
him.
reached
like,
over and pushed him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that was like a big outrage on social media. And I kind of agree with the players. Like, don't touch me. If I accidentally fall into the courtside seats, you don't have a right to touch me, especially if you're like 3 or 4 people away.
Yeah.
No. Right, yeah, don't put your hands on me. So that was some drama over there,
And they
but
fined him like $500K, which is
Yeah.
like $100.
right, yeah, because he's a billionaire. So
Yeah.
that's
He's
nothing.
an investor. He's
Right,
Still lost money though. So
yeah. Anything else for Hip Hop Corner? Right.
I mean, I ain't really got anything for 2 cents.
I figured out that if you play Return of the Mac when it's raining, it don't make it stop raining. That's what I thought was going. I'm like, maybe if I play this,
The sun was gonna just
yeah.
start shining.
Turn out the Mac. Oh man. So no movies, nothing.
That just stole the show of my whole 2 cents right there. We can move on straight up to Catherine. That was a great opener.
Right.
That was the opener. Good job.
Oh yeah. So we were pleased to have Catherine here with us. I told you a little bit about her. She's a life coach, entrepreneur. So Catherine, tell me a little bit about some stuff that you're working on. I know you said you have a hair care company as well as not media company, book publishing company.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Okay, so I am 33, and I have 2 children. My daughter is 16. My son is 11. I grew up in Detroit, near Shane and 94, so the east side of Detroit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You fellow East Sider as well.
Yeah, that is great. So just what I'm doing right now is I'm currently working on my coaching program. I started my hair company in 2017, and that's Our Hair Addiction, and that's been a ride. I've recently gotten 2 partners, so that is awesome because that takes. I'm able to take my hats off. I had like a million hats on, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going crazy. But no, it's still great though. And my book publishing company is Love and Mind Publishing Group, and we actually published my son's first book when he was 9, so that was 2 years ago. And that's titled The Love Book. That's pretty awesome, and that derived from just some family tragedy we had going on, and he wrote about it, so that was awesome. So and with my coaching, so pretty much what I do is I study behaviors. I've been studying behaviors for quite some time, and I just genuinely love people. I love everybody, right?
That's awesome.
And I love to help people, so I'm like the problem solver, right? And if you have a problem, I'm going to try to help you solve it to the point where you won't need me. So, so that's just a little bit.
Okay.
I'm a little nervous, but
you're
I'm
fine.
warming up. So it's cool. It's cool. I like being here with you guys.
Yeah, I'm glad. So it sounds like you're doing a lot of stuff, a lot of great things.
Yeah.
So what was the inspiration behind, getting that start, especially with the hair care products that you're doing? And sort of where are your products already placed in stores? So yeah, tell us about that.
Okay, so it's online. So we're online. How that started was, I was like, okay, it's Our Hair Addiction, because I've been like a hair addict all my life, right? So I was like, that was the perfect title. And so when I first started it, I was like, okay, so I'm going to sell wigs, bundles, frontals, closures, things like that. But then I'm like, everybody can do that, right? So I was like, what can set me apart? Like, why? My why. I'm always like searching for my why, and I want it to be meaningful. So I went back to the drawing board, and I was like, okay, I want to incorporate helping people. So then I started to create this program to donate wigs throughout Michigan to women who are experiencing hair loss due to chemotherapy, alopecia, and so I wanted to make it make sense. So then that's something that we do is we donate wigs throughout Michigan. And it's been out of pocket so far, but I'm building relationships with Beaumont and Carmanos and Henry Ford Hospital, so that's been like awesome. And bringing my partners on board, we're actually able to do more now. So like we're actually getting into doing like the home shows, like hair parties, like a jury party. Yeah. So yeah, we're starting like the hair parties, and we are working to become a household name.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And so with your life coaching, I did kind of want to talk about a broader topic within that, trying to find balance within our own lives. Like what is some advice you give people, especially we're dealing with so much stuff. We're working, we have, financial obligations. Many have, children. How do you find balance within yourself? And what is some advice you give to other people to get that balance?
Okay, so finding balance within yourself is something that you actually have to. You have to be all in on that journey to just figure out what's going on. So you can't like half-ass it.
Yeah. Yeah, you,
Okay.
you can cuss. You can say whatever you want.
Right. Okay. I was like, okay, so you can't like half-ass it. So something that I initially just like meet with my clients and I just figure out what's going on with them. And so I have to make sure that my coaching is not like therapy, right? So I have to be like careful. So I'm walking that fine line because we have to figure out like where it originates from, our problems that we having. So we have to go back, and that's like therapy. But it originates from something. Everything originates from something, and I just help people to just figure out where it went wrong at what point. And I listen to them talk, and pretty much they tell me exactly like what's going on with them. But I just let them know. So first, I feel like prayer is everything. So I incorporate prayer in my coaching. Everybody doesn't want prayer though.
Yeah.
I don't push it on people. Like this one dude was like, "Hey, I think you're a really great coach, but my family and we don't pray, so we're not gonna go with you." And I'm like, "Oh, that's completely fine." But but I'm like, I do feel like there's always a higher energy, a higher being than us, and it just depends. Like I don't treat each client the same. I kind of go according to like the personality and the situations of it all, and just create like a specific program just for that individual. If that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah.
And so, sorry.
No, I was gonna ask. Does every new client give you goosebumps, or do you feel like do you approach every new client like not the same way? Like what is it like just coming into like a person's life? You know what I mean? Even for that small moment to help them with something.
I'm really energy sensitive. So when I first started my coaching, I had to be mindful of that, the energies that I allow in my life. When I get on a call, I am pumped. I am like, yes. Like, so initially I listen to the voice as people pay attention to their body language, and some call me and they just be like so sad, so depressed, just so down. And during that call, regardless if I'm hired to be their coach or not, my job is to feed them energy. When they get off the phone with me, I want them to be like, okay, today is a good day. Like regardless if I'm hired or not. So that's something that I pay attention to. So, but I'm always like pumped. It feeds me to fuel people. So that's how I feel during a call. I love a challenge. So it doesn't matter like what walk of life you come from or what your professional titles or anything are. I treat everybody the same. And so like even like for example, I had a guy. He was battling with sex addiction, and I don't address the sex addiction itself. I address how to control yourself, self-control, self-awareness, self-accountability, things like that. I couldn't take that person, that client on for too long because it became like it was becoming disrespectful to me. But that's just my approach with it. So it's like, okay, so I need you to be all in. I can't do it for you. We have to do it together. And then I just address the behavior itself. So but I love it. I love it. Like even when I have issues myself, because I'm human too. So some days I'll be like, oh, I don't want to be bothered or whatever. If I know I have a call lined up, I'm like, okay, let's go. And then they actually, me helping them is actually they're helping me too, and they don't even know it.
So do other, and I'm always curious about this because I've talked to counselors and like therapists. Do other life coaches have other life coaches for them?
Yes. Yes, that's definitely needed, right?
Yeah, 'cause I'm sure it gets a lot of baggage just kind of bringing on.
Yeah, everybody else's stuff. Yeah.
So it's good because I have mentors and I have coaches as well that I reach out to. And I'm a student, so I'm always soaking up knowledge and learning. So I feel like there's always new things that I can learn, and we just powwow our ideals together and just bring that energy to each other.
Yeah. I'm always curious how people got into the professions they're in. Like, What was it that drove you to that direction in terms of being a life coach? Was it like an experience you had previously when you were younger, or?
Yeah, I'm interested in your influences. Like, what influences you?
Well, my parents, just my family in general, nurtured me. The very nurturing parents. So I've always had that love. That, you know, we grew up, you know, poor or whatever, but we always maintained that love and that care, and that poured into me, and I pour that into my children, and I pour that into the people that I'm around, the people that I meet, and so. But I've always like had like this keen, this intuitive side where I could just feel what other people are, you know, feeling, things like that. So just throughout my life, I'm just always like caring for people. And I had 3 years ago, it was something really tragic that happened with our family. And then I was like, oh, so even through that, I'm the person that everybody goes to. And so I'm trying to figure out how to hold myself up, how to hold everybody else up. And, you know, just fast forward in August, so I'm like currently on my leap of faith right now because I put a resignation into my job at FCA, JNAP. And I was there for 8 years as a forklift driver. And I was like, just after everything happened, I was like, you know what, I'm going to go all in. I am going to invest in myself. Something, you know, I dibble dabble and stuff like that, but I'm like, I'm going to really just like go all in this time. And even when I wanted to go all in for myself, I was like, I need to help people. Like that's just something that I love. It just drives me. And so I even incorporate that with my hair company, you know, with the wigs and stuff like that. And so it's just, that's why I'm here. Like I'm here. That's my purpose. And when I took my leap, I was like, what is it? What is it? You know, I can do all these many things, but I'm like, why am I here? And I found out why I'm here.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I'm happy. I'm so happy. So now I'm just working with that and just capitalizing on that.
Yeah. You know, taking that leap, that's something a lot of people are afraid to do.
Woo.
Like, you know,
and then finding your purpose.
Right.
A lot of people live their whole lives and they don't know why they're here.
I'm like relentless in finding the meaning to everything. I'm like, I'm going to find it. I'm not going to let up.
Yeah.
So I'm just, hard ass.
I know this might sound a little cliche, but did you, when you look back on it, was the answer already in front of your eyes that you were a person, that you were like the sunshine for other people, that you were this source of inspiration and support for other people, was this answer always in front of you? You just didn't notice it, or?
Absolutely. I get so much feedback. I love people. I love animals. I love creation. So I'm always getting that feedback of how nurturing and caring I am, and how I don't forget what people would just like look over some people. But it's always been in my face, but I had to grow. I had to grow into it, if that makes sense. So like this leap, it's been, I saw this clip from Steve Harvey, like, you know, when you first take your leap, you're not going to fly immediately. You're going to hit rocks. You're going to do this. You're going to get some skin tore off. Yeah, all of that. All of that, right? So I am.
Make the jump.
Yeah. I'm currently, if you look at it from that perspective, I'm currently, my clothes are torn, but my scars are healing, and I'm able to stand up, and I'm like, yes, and I'm right there at that other side of the sunshine where I'm like, okay, so now my scars are healing, and I'm currently working on new clothes and stuff right now.
Really.
So but it's always been in my face. It's just I had to grow into that person to be able to accept it, and it takes a thicker skin out here. So.
Yeah. So when you're working with your clients, do you kind of see like common things that a lot of people are kind of dealing with, like some common themes that kind of emerge? Yeah.
Everybody going through something. Everybody they have like depressed. We all have like depressed moments and stuff like that, but that's mostly what it is. I'm good at mediation, so I take on clients that just need help with communication, anger management, like mediation, and then just being aware of self, and building self-esteem, and just learning how to pull yourself out of a rut, because at the end of the day, you have to be the one to be aware of yourself. You can have help, but you still have to do that part yourself. So, yeah.
I'm just glad, because I feel like the stigma around mental health has dropped a little bit. You're starting to see a lot of people take advantage of services, counseling, therapy.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of glad we are, especially as in the Black community too, because it was so stigmatized. Like,
Yeah.
you were never depressed. It was like, oh, you better go outside or something, right? Think about something else. I'm glad that people are sort of seeing or seeking your advice and seeking your just expertise.
It's a real thing. It's a real thing. It really is. And even when we had tragedy in our family and I had to seek counseling, I'm like, I don't want to go to counseling. It was just like something that was like a bad thing that in my mind. And so I didn't take it seriously the first two. But it's also important for me to be able to vibe with that person and I'm talking to. The energy has to be right. But even then I was like, oh, I didn't take it seriously. But I did. I tried it again and again. So on my fourth time, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm actually here to participate this time. And it's not bad at all. It's not a bad thing to reach out to help and to just be able to talk to somebody. It's not. And I know people who are schizophrenic. I know people who are bipolar. I know all type of people, and I don't judge them. And it's like it's really real. So I don't think no one should ever just point their finger or look down on someone just because they reach out for help mentally. It's a great thing.
Yeah, we actually had an episode about that earlier on. We talked about mental health in the Black community as to, even once upon a time and even today, it's also shrugged off as, oh, they're just having a bad month, bad week, he's not crazy, he's just a little, and it's not right to call somebody crazy either, but it's more so it was shrugged off when you have certain symptoms like depression or schizophrenia or stuff like that. It's just shrugged off like, oh, they're just different,
It usually is. And I think that's the unfortunate part, especially in our community where we're not told. Because I know in some communities, like, you can be 10 years old and they're taking you to therapy, right? And so it becomes normalized.
Yeah.
And for us, it's just sort of like, that's what, we don't do that. Like, it's just something that
it's a thin line between you need help and you're crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least for the Black community, I feel like if you go to therapy, I mean, not anymore because, like you said, the stigma is going out the window. But if you need help, back when it was a big thing, it was just like, oh, you're going to therapy, like, oh, he crazy, where it's not really that deep. I mean, it's not that case. Yeah,
But I'm curious though, why was that? And this is open to everyone. Like, why? Yeah. What was it? Where did that arise? Like, was it?
I think it may have came from a lack of resources. Because a lot of us we made a lot of a lot of people, they go through trauma and they just don't get the help.
Yeah.
And there's also pressure. Like being Black in America. You're supposed to be the strong Black man. You're supposed to be the strong Black woman. If you got mental issues, you got to tell yourself, I can't have people see me as this. They're not going to look at me as strong. They're going to look at me as weak. There's also that internal pressure, too, that came into it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when you're dealing with a situation that may be, like, very tricky and, like, is out of your control, do you, like, refer them to a psychiatrist or, other psychologists? Because there could be something where someone may be suicidal. How do you handle those situations?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm currently like just working with other just mental health individuals now. So like a psychiatrist, hotlines, things like that. So I just refer them over. I explain to them what I'm able to do, and I explain to them what I'm not able to do, and then what I feel like, I'm not just going to hand them over to just anybody. So I actually, meet these people or had a relationship with these people or was coached by these people previously, and I just, send them over to them. Not everyone accepts the help because when they reach out to me, they're like, hey, I want you specifically, but if I can't help you, I'm not going to play like I can.
Yeah.
That's serious. Like, suicide is serious.
Yeah,
that's a lot of that is serious. And I've personally never had thoughts of suicide, so I definitely wouldn't even know how to approach that. Yeah. Well,
So, in terms of like referrals, are you typically do like, how do you find your clients, for the most part?
So so I suck at getting leads, right? So I'm on this lead generation website. That's one way to get leads, and so people hire me there, and then I'm able to like click this button, like, hey, I'm hired, and so I became like a cool commodity on there. So people actually just like reach out to me like all day. I can't even keep up.
Wow.
I can't even keep up. So I'm like, I need to hire an admin.
Right.
I need to find somebody because I want to be able to take these people on, but I have to build a stronger structure.
Yeah. I was going to get there. Like,
Yeah.
so you're in this stage.
Yeah.
So, like, where do you ultimately want to see this go? Like, this part of your life in terms of life coaching? You want to have, like, an office space with
Yeah.
people underneath you doing...
Well, not underneath me. I actually want a building, and I want to bring in. I want it to be coaching and consultant, the entire building, and not just mental health, but just in general. Because like I also coach people with starting their businesses and stuff like that too. So that's something that I do too. So with my coaching, I want to have 40 clients in rotation monthly, and I'm currently in the process of writing books because I have one book already, but I wanted to, be for coaching. And so I a coaching program where people don't necessarily have to see me as their coach, but they can download the content so it can help them without, because some people don't want to be bothered. They want the help, but they don't necessarily want to be bothered because it's like you already going through stuff in your mind. You really don't want that interaction all the time. It's pressure. So yeah, that's when it comes to my coaching to travel nationwide because right now my clients are nationwide. So that would be like so awesome, and to have my platform to speak,
I can see you doing like some seminars,
Yes.
selling
my
out arenas.
God. Yes, that is definitely the goal. Like that would fuel me. Like,
That's awesome.
yeah.
So I have a question about entrepreneurship. Is someone born an entrepreneur, or can you learn how to become one? I feel like, me personally, I feel like you have to have some type of like internal drive that kind of pushes you to do it, and people just don't have it. What do you think?
You definitely have to have a drive. But I was like, I was born from hustlers, so
Yeah.
I think that hustle was already in my blood, definitely. And but just being around. So as I'm growing up, I'm around people that's like just getting it. That's just like working hard. So I think that rubbed off on me as an influence. But then I also think that I just had that mindset, and I'm like the person that just like want power.
Yeah.
So that like drives me, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, and it's really important for me for self mastery. So I'm like, okay, I think entrepreneurship can be taught. Aspects of being an entrepreneur, but I think you have to have that inside of you.
Yeah, because I just think, there's so many books out there. There's so many YouTube videos about, how to be an entrepreneur. But at the end of the day, only a small percentage of people actually make it, right? They're truly successful. And I have a lot of friends who are like, I want to start these businesses, but when it gets going, when the going gets tough, right, they just kind of walk away.
Yeah.
And so it just takes that persistence and that drive and that leap of faith, and I guess that belief in yourself is so important.
It takes a lot to try something on a Tuesday that doesn't work, and then Wednesday get up and just keep going at it. And Thursday, it takes a lot for things to not work, and for you to just be like relentless in your approach. Like, okay, I can figure this out. I can figure this out. So like I'm always like strategize everything.
Yeah.
So I think it's something that always been in me.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, I think I think in general people have this it's a very weird relationship with failure. I think it's like you kind of see success everywhere you go, whether it's on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. People are putting up positive things, they're putting out the great things that they're doing, but they're not showing you the failure that it took to get there, right?
Yeah.
And so in our minds, we're like, oh, I can be successful. Look easy, like they did it. They're doing what they're doing. But you don't really understand like what it takes and the hard work and the sweat you got to put in. And I think that's going to be a detriment to our society because these kids are growing up. They're seeing these successful, musicians, artists, basketball players. But again, they just think that, I could just grab a ball and shoot it and I'm good.
Yeah.
And you don't see the hours that LeBron is putting in the gym, the how much pain he's in every day, right? And I think we got to get people to sort of see, what it truly takes to be in these positions.
Yeah.
So for you, what advice would you give to someone like a young entrepreneur? Like, maybe someone who's in high school looking to start a business who may not want to go the traditional route of college? What do you say to them?
Influence is really important. Influence, you have to put yourself in around the right people. Definitely, that plays a lot on when it comes to just your self-esteem and just the energy too. But keep going. Just keep going. Believe in yourself, and just know that whatever you want, it is attainable. No matter how big, no matter how small, no matter if someone says you can't do this, you're not qualified. You tell yourself you can. You can, and then also pray. Heavenly Father, because I don't do nothing without him. Like, seriously. But you can do whatever it is that you put your mind to do. If that's what you want, you can do it. Period.
Yeah. So how have like the mentors in your life, how have they helped you and guided you?
Self-accountability. Yeah. Be like, hey, I don't like the way you're doing that. I don't like the way you're doing business. It's like, oh, okay. But it's like I know it, in some aspects it's like, but when you have somebody that is accomplished or just show that discipline, just within themselves, it's easy to trust them when they say like, hey, so just for someone to tell me like it's okay to not know everything. It's okay. And like I said, the self-accountability to be like...
she's being funny. Right. She's being funny.
It's definitely okay to not know everything. And if you don't know something, it's okay to say, hey, I don't know this. What else? Influence. Definitely, yeah. And then just help me accountable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely agree.
Yeah.
I think mentors are kind of underrated, resources that people all need. I wouldn't be where I was in my life without people, supporting me who have been through it, who, usually like older people who've been through some same situations. They have the best advice, and they give you the guidance. They give you, the support when you need it. They let you know you're doing it wrong. We need to know. And that's amazing. I think that one, besides financial capital that we kind of lack in the Black community, is social capital. So those networks, those supports, those resources, we don't have a lot of that, right?
Yeah.
So for you, how are you looking to build that social capital within the community?
Okay, that's a great question. So just even like with you guys, right? Like with Damien just introducing me, we're passing my information over to you. So like just influences like this, I always feel like we can meet up and we can exchange information. And then if I know that you're interested in something, then I'm like, hey, will you come here? Like, or just an invite, just to keep the energy going. Because it is truly like who you around at the time, Yeah. I don't think it's all about education. Education is wonderful, but then I also feel like it's just about the influence as well. So everywhere that I go, I just meet people and I keep those people in my back pocket and be like, hey, okay, so I know this person's interested in this, and I just try to keep that going, if that makes sense.
It definitely does.
Yeah.
I had a question for you before we wrap it up. I wanted to know where can people find the Love Book, and like I thought that was pretty interesting. So you co-wrote that with your son, or he wrote that mostly by himself?
Oh, he wrote it by himself. I had some parts of the illustration. That is all.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So he wrote it on his own.
Is it on Amazon or?
It is on Amazon. So it's a Love Book. It's actually in Farmington Community Library as well. We have a Facebook page. So it's a Love and Mind Publishing Group on Facebook. We also have Facebook of Our Hair Addiction as well. Yeah. So
Awesome.
Okay, so I know you've been unofficially life coaching
yeah,
for a long time.
for a long time. Yes.
So, what has the role of technology played a bigger part in our, I want to say like our mental health or our self-destruction?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because just think about like how we were when we was little. Like we didn't have all this extra trinkets and stuff like that, and it just became more simpler. So like even when it comes to like the website, like the trolls and it's a mean place, like the web, but even just with, we're addicted to our phones. It's like a lot. So we tune out many things and we tune into this one thing. So I definitely think it plays a role. Yeah, I kind of went blank. I was thinking like a million things, but yeah.
I mean, how often do you see people getting negative advice from like Google? Because I'm sure a lot of people like Google stuff, like
like Google, simple sentence phrases. Something.
Right. I'm sure you run into some people like, I Googled like, what are the symptoms of depression? Or,
Okay, that's what you're meaning.
Right.
Google is right sometimes, but it's always a reason underneath. So it's always a reason underneath.
Right.
So it's like, okay, Google can give you just like the basics, but not
Right.
it won't go in depth
detail.
on what's going on. Yeah, but when you talk to people, you know what's going on. Like I know what questions to ask and get it out of them, and I'm like, okay, so have you thought about that might be why you're feeling like this? Like, oh, you're right, and I'm like, yeah, okay, well, let's go a little deeper. So yeah,
I just got a thought. We need to get Paige and you connected to get this content.
yes,
Right?
Absolutely.
For real,
I'm all for it.
Get a little
Absolutely.
YouTube,
Yes.
station going of your content, your work.
Yes.
Think about it. It'll reach the audiences, get you, greater notoriety. It'll be great.
Yeah.
But I want to thank you again for taking the time out and speaking to us. For the group, any like final words in terms of this idea of balancing ourselves, mental, spiritual, emotional balance, and kind of the need to like talk with people about that.
I mean, I agree with our guests. I think we have to, do the work. We have to really find it within ourselves to find that balance and not look for the answer to just find us.
Yeah.
Appreciate where we are in the moment. Like we always want more, not really appreciating the moment that we're in. And I think sometimes if we just stop and just appreciate where we are and just count the things that we're grateful for, that right there is huge too.
Yeah. Don't compare yourself to anybody.
Yeah.
Only
Sure.
you yesterday. That's what my therapist tells me. So.
Yeah, the guest had it right at the top of the hour. Don't half-ass it. You got to be like when you're ready to do it, you got to be all in.
Yeah.
When you're ready to do the work and self-improve.
Yeah. And I'm with all you all. I think that in terms of our physical, emotional, spiritual health, we have to be willing to get support. Right, we got to destigmatize this. Especially in our communities, we have to realize that none of us have it together. We may look like we're perfect on the outside. We may look like we have it, together, and we're strong. No one's strong. So, I encourage you all to, try to reach out to Catherine. I don't know if you have like a website or something or an email address they can reach out to you. Or? Take your time, because we want to make sure that we get some clients for you. All right, just in case you need a life coach, everybody.
Thank you.
Right, we got to help each other out.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's just important for us to realize that our mental health is just as important as anything that we have. So, continue to seek support if you need it. Talk to professionals. Talk to family, friends, because again, I think it's important to feel like you're not the only one going through that situation.
Yeah. Definitely. So where they can reach me is info.callyourcoach@gmail.com.
Info.callyourcoach
Yes.
@gmail.com.
Yes.
Well, we appreciate you, Catherine.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming
having
here.
me. Yeah.
And Paige, thank you for being our guest host again. Hopefully you come back for next week.
I will. I'll try to.
Awesome.
But thanks for having me 2 weeks in a row. This is cool.
We might have to have a permanent space for you, right there.
Don't put pressure on her.
Why not? Come on, Paige.
Paige got enough going on.
Just add an extra hour to your day, for something else. But again, please like and share. It's been a great talk. We look forward to speaking to you again next week.